Hi, everybody. So it's been about a week, I think, since I put the Funder pipeline tracker out into the world. And I'm really grateful to everyone who's downloaded it and the really lovely comments that I've had back from people. And at the risk of annoying anyone that's downloaded it and started to use it already, I've actually just uploaded a revised version, an updated version, and it includes a couple of extra columns. And I just wanted to do a really quick video explaining what these new areas are and to delve a little bit more into one of the functions that the pipeline's got, which is being able to provide projections of incomes and a weighted grant tracker. So this update was actually inspired by a request over on Trust Fundraising Hub over on Facebook to look at something that could automate likelihood and projected income based on a number of research factors. And this was something I'd considered putting in when I did the first version, and decided not to go ahead with it at the time and just reduced it down to a one-off column, which priority status, where you could track whether something was a high priority or low priority. But off the back of a request over on Trust Fundraising Hub, I thought, well, let's put it in and if that's going to be something that people will find helpful. So if we focus on this blue section here, which was where we were mapping information about the proposed project, the project we thought was going to be a good fit for the funder. You can see we've got three new columns here in columns O, P, and Q. So motivation, capacity, and reach. And this is three headings I use whenever I'm talking about prospect research, whether that's in trust or individuals or corporates. I'm saying that for someone to be a prospect or for an organization to be a prospect, they have to have these three characteristics. So in the realm of grant funding, motivation for me is how closely a funder's aims align with the difference you're trying to bring about through your project. How strong is that overlap or otherwise? Capacity in this space is how much alignment is there between the size of grants that funders will give and the size of funding you're looking for. So that could be scored based on those funders giving the biggest amounts of money, or it could be prioritizing those who give multi-year funding, or where your ask is going to feel like a stretch ask for that funder or is going to be at the lower end, whatever that might be. Where is that alignment between the two? And then this third column, reach, or sometimes relationship. In grant funding, that's going to be around alignment with their eligibility criteria, but also that sense to which you've got an existing relationship with that funder, or whether you're able to build a relationship with someone involved in that process, someone who can stand up for you in those meetings. And you can see here we've got this option to score each of these out of 5. So on the face of it, quite a useful tool just for recording that information. But one of the other updates I've done is try to automate this a little bit more. So if we see here, let's go with this top funder here. If we start putting in some scores here, you can see automatically over on the likelihood column, it's automatically updating as we're putting that information in. And what I've set this up to do, that if the combined score across these is over 12 or 12 or higher, it will automatically fill this field in with good chance. If it's between 8 and 12, it will come up with average chance. If it's under 8, it will come up with low chance. Slightly subjective in terms of those scorings, um, but reflecting the fact that if you are scoring quite low against these, the chances of standing out, given how much competition there is for funding, it's going to be quite tricky. Now, this is just an initial guidance. You can override these. You can click on the drop down, override it with any of these. Once you do that, the automatic function will stop working. But yeah, it enables you to have that to add that human element to it. If you think there's a reason why a funder should be a higher or lower priority, then that's automatically generating. You can see in there's this very likely option as well, which doesn't automatically fill. There's no score that you can put in that will automatically put that. So for me, that's where a funder has either given you that verbal assurance that they're going to give you a grant, or maybe it's a funder that funds you every year. So that one needs to be filled in by you, where there are specific criteria that you think mean that there's a very high chance that a grant will come in. So again, this is a useful tracking tool. It's nice to be able to record that information, but this is also powering one of the functions that's built into to the tracker, which is being able to project income. And the best way to demonstrate this is to show some of the columns that are actually hiding away, because the eagle-eyed among you will have spotted that there are columns missing at various points. So if we right click and go to unhide, we can see the things that are hiding away. So first of all, you can see in column R, there's this prospect score. So that's just summing up the total scores in motivation, capacity, and reach. And that's what is powering that result coming out in the likelihood function there. So we just need to bring out two more columns that are hiding here. So that's what that column R is helping us fill out that likelihood. The other thing it's then doing is giving a sort of rating, which is a likely success rating. And the reason these are hidden is because this is running away in the background here. And you can see there's this long, depending on how familiar you are with Excel and some of the functions, seemingly quite long formula in this box here. And what this is saying is that if the likelihood column is shown as very likely, it will give a rating of 0.9, which is saying that 90% success rating. We'll come back to what that means in just a second. If it's good chance, it will come back as 33%. If it's average chance, it will come back as 1 in 7%. And if it's a low chance, it's about 1 in 12%. I think 1 in 12 applications you can see there, which enables us to put in this weighted amount, and this is giving us that projection. So whatever you put in as the target grant amount, it will multiply by the rating based on that success to give a weighted amount. Now, at the moment, both of these columns are hidden. You could keep that weighted amount public if you want. I was finding it was a bit too much information to have in one place, so I've hidden that. But that is powering, if we go into the project dashboard, that's helping to power that projected income and that weighted amount there. So that's where that's pulling from. It's pulling from the amount we were asking for multiplied by the likelihood of success to give us that weighted amount. As I say, a lot of those figures, particularly in that rating column, are quite subjective. They're the figures I use when I'm working on pipeline trackers. But if you wanted to change them, obviously you can do that just by altering the figures in the column up here. And again, that will just give you a different weighted amount based on what works for you, based on what you want to assign as being that likely success rating based on the likelihood factors we've got there. So hopefully that's an improvement on version 1. Hopefully we haven't just made it more complicated. I think one of the other things that this does do is probably make the priority rating column slightly redundant. I think now that we've automated that likelihood a little bit more based on those research factors, you might find that either that's duplicating information or that's unhelpful. Or you might find actually that it's helpful just to have a separate column that enables you to say, well, even though this is a lower priority, there's a reason why this has to be completed earlier, so we're going to give it a high priority rating. Maybe that's based on when the next deadline is, for example. So I've kept it in for the time being. Obviously, it's completely up to you. If you decide that's not useful, you can get rid of columns as you see fit. But yeah, so that's the latest update and the reason behind that. As always, any questions, please do let me know. And please do keep sharing suggestions for how we can keep making this better.